Hey guys, welcome to Storytime with yours truly, Qua Davis the Poet. And you know it. Guys, tonight I got a good one for you. It's a tragedy. It's a true story about two YouTube creators, two creators just in general, two women with seven children between the both of them. Educated, smart, and they just decided to make a really, really bad decision on November 6th of 2024. So before I even begin to start the story, I want to say that my prayers and hearts and goes out to the seven children that have been affected by this tragedy. And I'm praying for them. They lost three parents that night. Two to the law, of course, and one to death. And no one could have thought that it would really end up like this. So my hearts and prayers go out to them. And, we're just hoping for the best that these children get the help that they need throughout their life. So let me start and get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So it was a lady named Lauren and a lady named Savon. They both mothers, both with children. They were hardworking businesswomen. Savon was married to a woman named Lakivia. They previously did business with Lauren in the past. But things quickly went left. Okay? Quickly. And when I tell you quick, fast, it went left. Lauren Ashley Martin, born March 29th, 1990, in Orlando, Florida, better known to her family and friends as Bubbles. She was a mother of three. She was also the owner of Photo by Lady Photography, which was based in Florida as well. She specialized in family portraits, maternity shoots, and couples photography, which was the services that she offered Savon and her wife Lakiva in the past. But they weren't too happy with the services. She did business with them before, but when they did the couples shoot, they weren't happy. A lot of people on social media was saying how, they didn't come out right, they didn't look good, whatever the reason is. Savon Shantae Taylor was 35 years old. She specialized in tax services, and also she owned her a food business. She was a mother of four girls. Her and her wife were fairly popular on social media. They were happy, pictures posted up, the normal couple, okay? But when they asked Lauren for a refund on the pictures that she took, Lauren was like, hey, hell to the no. You bought them, you paid for the services and you got it. So she didn't feel like, she didn't feel like she would refund them, basically. No returns. That's what Lauren was stating. No returns. Well, that's when things, took a destructive turn. They would go back and forth on social media. They've known each other in the past because, like I said, they did do business before together. But it's like now the insults came in heavy. The accusations were out of pocket. Between me and y'all, it was all about a man, okay? Terrence was his name, hint, hint. But they won't tell you that side of the story. Because to be honest, these are two fully grown ass adults. College educated entrepreneurs, business owners. There's no excuse. But let's acknowledge some people. Let's just acknowledge some people that aren't able to overlook disrespect or just understanding emotional control. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have the ability to pick your battles and agree to disagree and move on. You know what I mean? You fight so hard to get where you want to be in life, and then you lose it all. For someone that you basically don't care about. You know what I mean? Somebody who doesn't add value to your life. You put your life in the hands of a person you do not trust. Where they do that at? I guess in Florida. You really get one life. And everything that you've prayed for, you throw it all away for nonsense. That's the moral of the story right here. Before I get into the details, it's like, why waste everything for somebody that you don't care about? To me, it's a waste. It's a dishonor to our ancestors. They fought for decades so we could even own our own businesses, be our own bosses. You know what I mean? It's crazy. We as a people really put them to shame. Men are for the streets, especially the undisciplined ones that can't control the urge. The human nature, it is human nature, so don't trip. It's a way to live your life, and it's the way that you go about, you know, having common courtesy and respect for your significant other. Some people just don't have that. You know what I mean? But look, this lady, Lauren, she basically spent her whole life. She got on live, Facebook Live, got dressed, basically amping herself up, listening to the other ladies' lives, talking about her, and just going back and forth in her mind and how she's gonna roll up, pull up on her. You know what I'm saying? And that she did. She pulled up on her, and as these ladies, they chose to take it to hell. You know what I mean? And Savon and her wife, they also went on live and started airing out all the dirty laundry about Lauren and her life, who did what, when, where. A few weeks, they went back and forth. But on that day, Lauren had enough. Lawyer threats, information, defamation of character, all type of accusations were thrown out on November 6, 2024. So shit hit the fan. She hit the fan. Lauren was done. She was up to her week's ends with it. And she responded. She responded by getting in her car and going over to that woman's house, which was Savon and Lakeitha's house. They also were on live stream, so they knew that she was on her way. So they basically had a head start. They had time to prepare. But Lauren didn't know that this would actually be her last live. Throughout the live, you can hear her daughter begging her not to go, but she was determined. Lauren would get dressed on her live while basically listening to Savon and her wife on live, and just get angrier and angrier. And before you knew it, old girl pulled up to Stanford, okay, in Florida. She wasn't playing no games, She pulled up on her, okay? And that she did, You could hear her saying, "I'm going to Stanford. I'm on my way to Stanford. I'm going to beat this bitch ass. I'm going to beat this bitch ass." And, things really, really took a bad turn. They really did. They were basically outside waiting for her. So, Florida's law is basically stand your ground law, where you can, you can plead self-defense. But Savannah and her wife came out the house with a bat on November 6, 2024, on the other side of town. Savon and her wife, Lakavia, were ready. Okay? People were relating messages back and forth on the Facebook Live. They were prepared, okay? A little bit too prepared, if you ask the law, okay? They brought a gun to a fist fight. They brought a bat to a fist fight. They left their house and came out in the street to meet Lauren for the fist fight. Hence why it is not self-defense. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't go to someone's house asking for trouble, you know what I mean, and not be prepared for whatever they bring. But bringing a gun to a fist fight, now that just ain't right. I mean, you can play all day if you want on social media, but some people in real life, they crazy, and they really don't have the maturity that it takes to just agree to disagree in different situations. I mean, some people just don't think. You know what I mean? And they will take it to the next level. And that's exactly what happened that night. Savon walked out to meet Lauren, attacked her, and killed her within minutes. I mean, it happened that fast, like literally that fast. I feel like in the video that I saw, Savon was basically winning a fight. And if you win in a fight, what's the sense to go get a gun? And you can hear her wife, LaCavia, in the background saying, yeah, now bust her 2 times. You know, and that's exactly what she did. She gave her wife, Savon, the order to end Lauren's life on November 6th of 2024. Okay, Savon was charged with first-degree premeditated murder on November 8th of 2024. That did not take long. A warrant was issued, okay, to her wife, LaCavia, who was also charged with premeditated murder. Okay, she was heard giving the order to shoot Lorraine on the live. You see, that's the thing. All of this happened on live, so they did all this for the world to see. It was nothing that the detectives really needed to put the case together because Dumb and Dumber already had put it out there for everyone to see, you know? So it was just, it was real quick, okay? It was basically premeditation and motive. You know, that gives motive, okay? On November 16th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m., a funeral service was held for Lauren. At the New Faith Church in Orlando. Family and friends, as well as the community, would gather to remember the life of Lauren Ashley Martin. All of this because of a live and a disagreement. Both women went on live. No one helped or reported it. No one intervened into the altercation that clearly happened live on social media. You know, sometimes you feel like social media is not a real place, but when you take it out of social media and you go to someone's house, that's a real thing, and it's real consequences. You know, when you take it from the internet and bring it to life, that's when it can become real. You know, you really got to ask yourself, is it worth it? You know, we fight our whole lives to get everything we feel we can achieve. And then in a senseless act, we decide to throw it all away because we can't disagree. We can't agree to disagree, like I stated before. 2 women decided to give up everything they worked for people they didn't care about or even like. You see, these women were fighting the wrong fight. I hope one day we as a people can see the light. 3 lives down the drain because no one had the emotional intelligence to maintain. Senseless acts happen every day, people. We got to do better. Once again, I'm sending love and light to the family and friends and children of all parties involved. This is a true story. It happened, and it really didn't have to. This is something that could have been prevented. So I just feel moving forward that with me telling this story, everyone just learns a little lesson in life. Sometimes it just ain't worth it, you know? It just ain't worth it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again for Quad Story Time. There will definitely be another episode out next week. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment on this video. And don't forget to share this video. Guys, I love you in real life. Thank you again. And do not forget to subscribe, okay? Subscribe. See you next time.